Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk. I'm here to talk about a very interesting, new and exciting project that I've been getting a bit involved with, and it's something that now I'm really excited to be able to share with you guys and get more of you involved in it. I mean, the thing about the Gooner Talk is that we've kind of sculpted and grown a channel whereby you guys in the chat are very level-headed, you're very knowledgeable, and I think that this is something that's going to translate perfectly and work quite synergetically with the Gooner Talk. So let's crack on and get straight into it. I'm joined by Gareth Ingham. How are you doing, mate? Are you well?
Very well. For a Tuesday on lockdown, it can't be bad.
Yes. How is lockdown treating you? Is it tough? Is it boring?
Yeah. Well, I've got two young children, so it's
Nice.
eventful. I've got kind of my single mates telling me they're learning 5 languages and the like.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit different for me with 2 kids. But this time it's better because the kids are actually at school. So last time was definitely hard work.
Yes. Yeah. Lockdown 2 is slightly easier than the first one. Now, let's crack on with it. So you, Gareth, are the founder of one of the founders of UrFeed. Which is an app that is now live, which is something that I've been involved with you for a couple of months now, going back, kind of getting through the development phase and the trial period, I suppose is what it was. So do you want to just tell the listeners initially what is UrFeed?
Yeah, so UrFeed really is a video community platform. Obviously, there's lots of different kind of community platforms like Reddit, Facebook groups that were very much kind of text-based. And obviously the onslaught of kind of video into the social space, and video's been brilliant at kind of with channels like this, or even kind of since Snapchat video stories, enabling you to kind of keep up to date with people that you already know. But it hasn't really been used in a community format to kind of help you to talk to and build new relationships and new communities with people that you share a passion or interest with, but you might not necessarily know. So we have tried to, or have created, and are going to develop it even further, UrFeed, which enables you to create a community around a passion, a purpose, a location, or a friend group. And then within that community, you can talk and share content via video. And there is no text base. So you can, in the same way, if you shared a piece of content into Facebook and you would write something on UrFeed, you share a video. And all the comments will be video back. And we just think this really fosters an intimacy that you're not able to get across text, because just people watching this channel, they're able to build more relationship with the people that are on it. I just think, obviously when we were all in lockdown, everyone wanted Zoom's gone through the roof, because if you're not seeing, if you're not seeing,
mega rich now.
So if you're not seeing your friends, you want to have a video conversation with them. And in the same way that it fosters that intimacy with people you already know, what we've been, and I think you could probably kind of testify to it, in that it helps you to create relationships with people that you don't. It's great when you kind of get put into a community around a shared interest, and then you literally have conversations. And I think probably the best way, what we've basically created, it's like a Zoom call, but you don't all need to be online at the same time. So it's like a video message board where you're able to leave a video message, and then people are able to respond with different video messages. And it's working really well at the minute. And we're really excited for how it can start to kind of bring people together.
And I think that obviously the app is, people that are coming to the show will be coming to think it from an Arsenal perspective, but the app it's all encompassing of lots of different kind of genres and topics, from health and beauty to different football teams to TV and film to music. It covers lots of bases.
Absolutely.
I think that, go on, carry on.
Yeah. So obviously everyone's got many interests. So where we see it going is that the app will have kind of thousands of niche communities around multiple interests, and then you can dip in and out of conversations. What you're able to then do is you're able to become a member of different community feeds, and then topics, kind of conversations are started in those community feeds, and then you can join in the conversation. And it's very powerful in terms of starting to hear other people's opinion. Obviously, a channel like this, kind of Arsenal Fan TV, as an Arsenal fan, it's something that you do. And obviously, kind of the news. What's been interesting is obviously during lockdown, the news has kind of turned into what is a UrFeed. It's in their living room, but it's ITN or BBC News have chosen the people. Whereas on UrFeed, someone can start that same topic, and it's anyone can have their opinion, and then you start to kind of really like find out different people, and then you can strike conversations with them. So I think that's been one of the really kind of democratizing kind of conversation around and community building. And yeah, we've also got a reputational score system, and what we want to try and do is create quality content. There's obviously a lot of noise or kind of a channel like this and kind of different influences across the social space. It's very much to kind of lift it up from a lot of noise. And so what we want to try and do within the platform is reward kind of experts, reward kind of members of the community that put in really good content into the platform, and raise that content up a little bit above the kind of the normal kind of members within the platform. So we're just starting to trial that with like a reputational score, and you're able to kind of fire start someone's video when if you really like it, we're able to monitor how long people are watching that content for, how often people are watching it, and through this kind of different scoring system, we're then able to reward. So we're knowing that particular users are really generating great content into that community, and then we're able to reward them off the back of that, and through that pull their content above other people. So it's those two elements of conversation and then hopefully quality content as well.
I think that like what a lot of, say, coming from an Arsenal perspective, is a lot of people find, say, Twitter very noisy is the word we kind of used, and it's full of a lot of anonymous people and anonymous accounts as well that can just throw abuse and troll people. And the thing I liked and what drew me to get involved with UrFeed is that it is based around providing quality content for people to have a real genuine discussion from. So for instance, if I just give the listeners kind of an example of what happens, as one of the hosts, and I'm joined by Kian, I can see he's in the chat now, which is great to have you here, Kian, and Dre T and Kaz as well. And each of us will then drop a video into the Arsenal specific feed, which will be based around a topic. So I have just put one in just now talking about the links between Christian Eriksen and Arsenal, which in itself is hilarious. But I've just thrown a video in there, given the background of the story, and then dropping a question at the end, which then people will be able to respond to. The other hosts will be able to respond to it. And so from my grasp of it, and you'll have to tell me where I'm getting this wrong, is that there will be, once you've got up like enough reputation on the app, you'll be able to interact with the hosts more often and respond.
So you'll be able to, so basically within a community, you can start a conversation, or you can take part in a conversation. So the host can start conversations, and the members can participate in the conversations. So you could start. So any member can come in now and start to respond to a conversation that you've started and give their thoughts and opinions. And really, kind of the traditional kind of social model is very much around this kind of 1-9-90 rule, where 1% of people create content, 9% of people comment on it, and 90% watch it. And what we wanted to do is turn the 9% who are commenting, give them the same media format as the creator. So now normally you create a YouTube video, everyone else can just comment. Well, now you create a video and everyone else can respond with a video. So it's really compelling to watch. We can really start to see, and also then you're really starting to see the other people in the community. You're starting to build a relationship with them. Amazing to see people becoming really close friends who have never physically met each other on the platform, but they're becoming very close friends because it's like you're having a FaceTime conversation on a mobile phone with people that have got a real shared interest. And obviously on kind of TikTok, you have to be able to kind of dance or be funny, and all you really have to do on your feed is have an opinion of something that you're really passionate about. And so football for me, we saw it as a great because there's really great pockets of communities all around. There's a lot of conversation because there's a lot of regular games, so there's lots of discussion points constantly. So we see it as being a really vibrant and interactive community. And I think in terms of touching on your element around the trolling, a massive part of what we wanted to try and do was get rid of that kind of keyboard warrior aspect. Obviously, one of our thought process at the beginning was it too much of a barrier to entry? Because do people want to talk on video? But then we thought that's actually a good thing, because you have to think about what you're doing, and it's quality over quantity. Everything what we want to try and do, we'd much rather there be less but really quality stuff that's worth listening to, that's worth, a bit like kind of you get guests on here, you take your time to think about who they should be. It's not just a free-for-all and everyone. So it's that similar process, but just having the app allowing that to take shape. Yeah, that's really where we want to do. But we definitely think that's a massive aspect in terms of the twofold to it. One, the positive aspect, the way it brings people together, but then obviously the other aspect in terms of it discourages people from saying stuff that is too much. And also we've got a great thing in terms of we made a big decision early on to only use mobile numbers as a sign up. Yeah. So what we're able to do is if you are a bad actor on the platform and you do start doing stuff, the hosts can ban you from that community. But if it's something really bad, that is not just a community. Every single community has rules. Yeah, every single community has platform rules, and then the hosts are able to create their own rules for that community as well. And so you could break those rules, you could kind of be warned and then removed from the community, but you're also able to remove you from the platform, and you can't just go and create another email to get back in quickly. You'd have to go and get a new SIM card. And so we've even made the way that you get in and our ability to kind of remove people a lot easier as well by doing that. So we want to create a great, active, vibrant community platform that encourages really quality content and great conversation.
From the social aspect of it, in terms of like what sometimes you see on Twitter, I suppose, and you suppose with the other video forums like TikTok, and you said that maybe there'll be an element of some people being a little bit afraid to post a video onto a feed. Now, what's good about this and that specifically is one of the biggest fears is people are worried of being embarrassed. People are worried about being thrown under the bus or taking the mick out of for just posting a video. And so by creating this vibrant and friendly community of people, like you're able to post your opinion and people will disagree with what you're saying, which is absolutely fine. And that's not it's not going to be a hole full of yes men. That's not what this is about. It's about creating a good discussion. I mean, me and Cass, for instance, disagree on almost everything to do with Arsenal on the feed. But it's completely civil and it's respectful, and people come forth with their ideas and they back it up with evidence and their opinions. And I think around Arsenal, you can get lost in a massive soup on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram around Arsenal, and this is going to be its own niche thing. And I think and the accountability of it as well, as you say, with signing up specifically with phone numbers is really important to that as well.
Well, I think the thing that you just touched on there with Cass, the stats show I think 50% of people on Twitter have never tweeted once. They go on there to read other people's tweets. And I think there'll be a lot of people that won't want to come into and start posting, but just watching that video interaction of you and Cass debating and discussing, it's really compelling viewing and it's really interesting to watch. So I think that's one of the great things about it's very visual to watch for users that don't want to post, but because it's not a global community like TikTok, it's compartmentalized around interests and passions and purpose, that it is the Arsenal community. So naturally the community looks after itself, and it's a welcoming community in itself, in that no one's looking to take the mickey because you've got an opinion about the football team. So I think that in itself, it's not. I think if there was some of the things around kind of a big football community, we also have a football community. There'd probably be a little bit more banter in stuff like that, or at different elements. But I think that's the great element. You can kind of choose the different places where you want to have those conversations. But that kind of closed aspect around it just being an Arsenal fan community for Arsenal fans, I think it differentiates it from kind of these big kind of more hashtag-led kind of communities, where a hashtag is not really a community. It doesn't have rules, it doesn't have members, and it doesn't have that kind of etiquette that starts to build up. And I think that's one of the things we're trying to do very early on, is within each community find really great people to bring in and let it grow organically. So each kind of community can really kind of foster that kind of that ethos and that great. So when we kind of really start to bring a lot more people on later on, it kind of looks after itself.
Yeah, and the fact that it's different as well is like when you go onto it, the Arsenal feed is a specific thing, whereas on Twitter you follow the certain people that you want to follow and hear their responses, or you see retweets, but it can get lost in so much other political stuff, videos about TV shows, when this is completely segregated. And if you want to tune in and look at specifically Arsenal stuff, you can do that. If you want to see specific things about other topics, you can do that as well. And you can get involved with as many feeds as you want to. So that's also important.
Yeah, so obviously we've got the main feed where it's an aggregation of all the conversations that are happening in all the communities that you're part of. So you've still got the surface stuff, but as you said, that kind of jumping into your own community and starting to build that up, and the different elements around that, I think, it is unique. I think a community platform and communities in general, I think kind of two things that lockdown showed us is obviously everyone's a little bit more up for talking on video than they ever thought they would be, but also how important communities are. Like your community, whether it's missing your work friends, you're kind of going to the game. A big part of football is kind of, yes, that you love watching the team, but it's also the other people that you meet up, the drink beforehand with your friends afterwards. All of these things are just as important as the actual match itself. And I think there's a massive element of that on the platform where we're trying to get as close to face-to-face conversations as you possibly can. And I think that's one of the things when we came up with the idea was, will it replicate that? And I think one of the great things is the feedback that we've had and the usage that we're getting is really showing that it really is replicating that in terms of it is kind of close to having that Zoom call, but without you all having to be online at exactly the same time, which is really, we're really pleased with.
The last point I want to bring up on and to kind of sell it as well is I think this is really good for people just outside of the UK that are Arsenal fans specifically, because as you said there, encapsulating that kind of match day feeling for foreign fans doesn't happen because they can't, unless they're very lucky to be able to travel over, and with the situation right now, it's just not going to happen. So having that experience of being around other fans, if you are in a different country, it will genuinely have a massive impact. And I've seen people I've sent the link to that have had a look at it and saying that it's already made them feel a little bit more connected to other Arsenal fans that they don't necessarily get by either watching videos on YouTube or by reading tweets on Twitter. So I think that side of things of looking at it from a foreign perspective is also important. Absolutely.
I think we're very UK focused at the minute and we're rolling out in different territories, but my God, I think we've got like Singapore, Abs lived there before, and I think the appetite in Asia for kind of Arsenal and Premiership clubs in general is amazing. And I think even that kind of the dialogue again with Arsenal fans, I think it's going to be really interesting. We're also looking at some different things around in the future, how we can not just kind of your kind of a participation within the community, but if you were at the game and you checked in, then your review of the game would have more prominence within the community, that because you'd been there and you'd seen stuff. So we're looking at different things of how we can kind of pull up kind of triggers that let us know that you've got a little bit more of an expert opinion because of how much your kind of past action within the community, but then also based around a game, were you actually there? So you can give us a little bit more of an insight than somebody that's watched it on TV. So those are some really exciting things that we're looking at as we develop it going forward.
So just before we wrap things, is there anything you think that we've missed? Anything that anyone else needs to know specifically, or have we covered every base?
Yeah, look, I think for me, the main thing, if you kind of think about it, it's kind of like having FaceTime conversations with people around a passion and discussions, and it's an open discussion online around everything and anything. So I think there are public feeds that are created. Arsenal is one of them, but you can also come on and create a feed with just your friends, which then is like a video WhatsApp. So it's very much the platform can be what you kind of want it to be in terms of those kind of more kind of private friend groups. But then I think the Arsenal community is also really developing really well. So we'll be very excited to have kind of different people onto the platform that are watching the channel.
Yeah, for sure. There is a link in the description right now if you want to go down and click that. As Gareth said, it's not available in all territories yet, but don't worry, be patient. It will be available soon, I'm sure. But yeah, if you want to leave a comment or a question, I'm sure that I can feed that forward to Gareth and have no problem answering that. I can feed that back to you. So yeah, feel free to do that. But Gareth, it's been a pleasure to speak to you.
And as an Arsenal fan, we've got to kind of make the Arsenal community kind of, get popping. So
exactly, we need to see that getting a little bit more vibrant. So for sure. Awesome. Right, well, you can tune into the next upcoming shows throughout the week. Finally, football. It feels like, as I said yesterday, the longest international break ever. It's been a joke. It's been ridiculous. So I'm looking forward to Arsenal coming back on Sunday. Well, I say looking forward. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're looking forward to Arsenal getting back on Sunday. But it's been a pleasure to speak to you, Gareth. We'll speak to you soon, and drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check out UrFeed by clicking the link in the description. We'll see you again very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.